Thank you so much for joining today's Google Hangout. My name is Roshni Pari. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager with the vCloud Air team at VMware. The topic for today's Hangout is how to use VMware vCloud Air to extend your existing application and testing and development. We are featuring three customers today: VIF International Education, Cloud Business, and Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, GCSSAA, to talk to you about their use case of vCloud Air and how they are using vCloud Air for test dev and extending existing applications. A growing number of organizations are considering cloud-based solutions today to complement their existing on-premises environment for use cases such as dev test, extending existing applications, etc. This Hangout is an excellent opportunity for you to learn from our customers how they are leveraging vCloud Air for exactly these use cases. The three customers we are showcasing today are going to talk to you about why they opted for a cloud-based solution and specifically why vCloud Air. They're also going to talk to you about their experience so far with the platform and what benefits they've realized. This is a very informal session, and my colleague Chris Spencer and I are going to jointly host this Google Hangout. So let's get right into the agenda. We are going to do a round of introductions, and after introduction, each one of the customer is going to talk about their experience so far, and then Chris will conclude the first part of the Hangout. And in the second part of the Hangout, you get to ask questions. So tee up all of your questions, and that means you will have roughly around 20 to 25 minutes to ask questions. So let's get into introductions. Let's start with the VMware team. Chris, if you can state your name, title, area of expertise, how long you have been with VMware, and a fun fact. And just like the last Hangout, I'm going to give you a choice between your favorite superhero and your favorite all-time movie. So, yeah.
All right. Hi, I'm Chris Spencer, Product Line Marketing Manager on the VMware vCloud Air team. I've been with VMware for about a year and a half, a total of 15 years in high tech. I'm responsible for the compute platform on the vCloud Air product line, as well as hybrid management, and also focus on extending existing applications and test and dev. Fun fact about me, I'm an avid mountain biker, so many times I have lots of scratches and bruises that my colleagues will make fun of me about. And a favorite movie all time has to probably be Braveheart.
Awesome, thank you. And now it's time for you to meet our customers. As you know, we are featuring the customers today: VIF International Education, Cloud Business, and GCSAA. So Cloud Business is a fast-growing cloud consultant software company based in the UK, and they wanted a UK-based service for their customers that will allow them to grow significantly over the next 10 years. We also have VIF International Education. VIF International Education is an education company that promotes global learning, connecting teachers and students with peers around the world. And they are currently operating their learning center, which is built on VMware. It's an online resource and community for teachers around the world that hosts forums and discussion groups. And finally, we have GCSAA. They are a professional association for the men and women who manage and maintain the game's most valuable resource, the golf course. They are currently using vCloud Air to host applications such as SQL, SharePoint, for their proprietary solutions like learning management and association management applications. So if you guys can introduce yourself, starting with your name, title, how long have you been in the industry, and your location. And let's start with Cloud Business.
Thank you. Hello, yeah, it's so I'm Matty Garrett, and I'm from Cloud Business. I'm the technical director here. I've been at Cloud Business since its inception 5 years ago, but in the wider tech industry, I've been doing this for about, I suppose, 15, 20 years. Cloud Business is a company which we've formed with a couple of prime aims. One of them being to assist companies moving into the cloud, whether that being email, whether that being workloads, servers, and any other infrastructure. We, like I say, we've been doing this for the last 5 years, and it's fair to say that over the last couple of years, our workload has increased somewhat. Our customer base has increased somewhat as well, and our ability to sort of to assist people to move to the cloud has become a little bit more relevant than it had when we first started out. Like Chris, I'm a fellow mountain biker in the UK. So I also have the problems of coming in with bruises and scratches and everything else that goes in. We have quite an avid sort of mountain biking team in the office. So yeah, I'm not the only one. Favorite films, favorite movies. I'm not really a movie buff, I have to say, but TV series is probably my bag, and it would still have to be Breaking Bad.
Awesome, thank you. And now I'm going to pass it over to VIF International Education.
Hi, my name is Mark Haney. I'm the Senior Systems Engineer for VIF International Education. As Roshni said, we're a global education company. Our Learning Center platform started about 2 years ago and has grown significantly since I came on board last May. I've been in IT for 20 years. It seems like yesterday when I started. Things have changed a lot since I got out of college. What we do here is provide professional development resources for teachers and educators to promote global education. And the company has been around since the late 80s, bringing teachers in from other countries to teach here in the United States. And one of the things our Learning Center does is allow teachers from other countries to request admission to teach here in the U.S. They go through a very intense vetting process, not just from the federal government, but from the staff here in Chapel Hill. We're based in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, not that far from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And this has been just a really awesome place to work over the last year. We have matter of fact, Nima, I'm not sure you're aware, but we've actually doubled the number of people working here in the last 2 months. So it's been quite a ride, actually. I don't know that I actually have a favorite movie. I do have a favorite television show, and it's funny we have somebody from the UK on because my favorite television show is Midsummer Murders, which is a UK show. And it's just kind of odd that a UK person will be here.
Thank you, Mark. And over to you, Lambert.
Hi, my name is Lambert Melvin. I am the Director of Information Technology at the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. The GCSAA is the National Association for Golf Course Superintendents and Greenskeepers. We provide them the education, the professional development, career support, and advocacy to our members, not only nationwide but also worldwide. I've been in IT for about 16 years. Don't really have a favorite movie as well. I would say my favorite TV show would be Game of Thrones.
Awesome. That's my favorite too. And thank you, guys. Thank you, Matthew, Mark, and Lambert. And over to you, Spence, for the next Q&A.
No spoiler alerts for Game of Thrones, by the way. No spoilers, rather. All right. So thanks for the introductions. Again, our goal here is just to understand how you guys are using the vCloud Air platform, what the benefits are. Tell us a little bit about your use cases, applications, and so forth. So let's get started with Cloud Business. Matthew, thanks for the introduction. Tell the audience why you guys looked at vCloud Air and why did you ultimately choose it as a platform for your workloads?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, when we were first evaluating some of our options, it was quite clear that we had a couple of requirements really dependent around our customer base, to be honest with you. Firstly, obviously we're in the UK, so we have a requirement for data to be stored within the UK for some of our customers, not all of them, but some of them. The other thing is it's important that as a business, we sort of spread our wings as such. We obviously involved in quite a lot of Microsoft technologies as well, and it's important that that we have a broad range of technologies which we can offer for our customers and to host ourselves. It's also fair to say that we had quite a lot of internal resource which was familiar with the VMware platform stack. So going to look at vCloud Air was sort of a natural step, to be honest with you. A couple of the key things which for the reasons why we've selected it as a platform for for ourselves and for our customers is the ability to sort of have sort of light infrastructure. We needed something that we could spin up quite quickly. When we get a request from a customer of ours who needs some infrastructure quickly, we're able to to meet those requests. The ability to have a sort of a hybrid approach as well, so to integrate with existing work systems, to move workflows between on-premise and in the cloud, and also just having the ability to scale up when we need to. So if we have any sort of periods of sort of high demand where we need to push applications out, we can use it quite successfully.
Okay, awesome. So I'm hearing that the bidirectional workload portability and the elasticity of the public cloud solution are benefits to your customers. Is that right?
That's it. That's it. Absolutely. Also, in addition to that, just some of the disaster recovery elements as well. I think it goes without saying that all of these, setting up an environment like this, if you've already got an existing sort of VMware environment, it doesn't really take too much. It's just really an extension of your existing environment. And then the ability to have a disaster recovery environment without having to, let's say, invest in quite a lot of infrastructure and cost and time is a great benefit.
All right, great. Well, thanks for the plug on the DR benefit that vCloud Air brings. On the common application front, what type of applications do you see your customers running in the vCloud Air platform, whether it be from a test or development perspective or from a production workload perspective?
Yeah, I think currently at the moment, I think when customers first, sort of step into to using vCloud Air, that they tend to sort of put some development applications. They might use disaster recovery. Production is always sort of the latter stage. It's sort of just trying to sort of find your feet, as it were. So it's fair to say that the majority of applications are out there, sort of development, test base, SQL servers, web server front ends. But then, as they've kind of proven them in that environment, you do get some who have a little bit more confidence and go out and use it for production means as well. So I would say mainly sort of development and disaster recovery, but it's starting to get a little bit more confidence with the platform.
Okay. Well, good. So we're running a test and dev blog series right now that talks about various use cases around test and development for our customers. Feel free to check that out at the VMware blog site for vCloud. So we're about halfway through that. So obviously, when you're looking at a new platform, everything's not always perfect. So what sort of challenges do you think a cloud business and your respective clients may have incurred with vCloud Air?
It hasn't necessarily been so much on the platform. It's more about sometimes connectivity issues, but that's been down to sort of issues on the on the site itself. I guess to be honest with you, sort of getting used to the platform initially and understanding some of its operations does require there was a little bit of downtime inadvertently because of that. But once it's set up and once it's fairly reliable, I mean, it's as reliable as the platform is. It's certainly more reliable than perhaps what any what we could or any of our customers could keep up in an on-premise environment.
All right. So any best practices or tips you might offer to interested parties?
Yeah, I would say it does help to sort of have the knowledge. So it's important, like any platform. If you've invested quite a lot of time on an existing platform, it does help to sort of carry that forward. And there's certainly a lot of information out there, whether that's by going through people, partners or, companies that are experienced in it, or, by using a lot of information that VMware provides on their knowledge base and, through their blogs.
Got it. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Matthew. As he alluded, vCloud Air offers a host of services, including compute services, disaster recovery services, all of which can be purchased directly or through your channel partner. We have a variety of different packaging offers, whether it be a subscription-based solution or a pay-as-you-go, on-demand packaging model that can fit customers' needs. So this is great. All right, thanks so much, Matthew. I think at this point we're going to jump to the next customer.
Yeah, that's right. We are going to talk to VIF International. So, Mark, as Nima mentioned, you've worked with us extensively. So, tell us a little bit more about why did you decide to go with a cloud-based solution and vCloud Air in particular?
It's really kind of twofold, actually. When I started here in May of last year, I was brought in to stabilize our Learning Center server, which at the time had about 3,000 users, teachers and administrators mostly, using the site. And the site was hosted here in Chapel Hill, and it was going down about every other day. It was incredibly unstable for a lot of reasons, but a lot of it was the fact that our hardware was 5+ years old. We ran everything on a VMware cluster, so it made a lot of sense to look at a VMware type solution to go to the cloud, because what we really needed was 24/7, 365 uptime that we couldn't really do here. We didn't have enough internet bandwidth available, despite the fact that we're fairly close to Raleigh. We didn't have redundant power here. We really didn't have the staff, to be honest with you, that could handle 24/7 uptime for those things. So one of the things we started looking at was cloud options. Either we talked about maybe co-locating a hardware server, but kind of quickly threw that out because it still required maintenance on our part. So we kind of wanted to abstract the hardware from our software systems, especially considering we were virtual anyway, and looked at a couple of cloud options. And the biggest consideration for us is my systems administrator is getting up to speed on VMware very quickly and didn't have a lot of experience with it at the time. He had only started a handful of months before I did, and I needed to be able to have him help me manage all of our VMware stuff from one interface. So that was a big selling point to us, is that I didn't have to try to get him to learn our internal VMware, vSphere management, and then learn another management interface for another cloud provider. So that was one of the biggest selling points for us, was being able to manage everything from one interface. We're still a very small IT staff. We have about 70 full-time employees now. Our IT staff is still basically 2. It's me and our systems administrator. So it became an issue of how much did I want to throw on his plate that he can handle, and this made life a lot easier for us so that I could document what he needed to deal with. And so, we moved to the cloud, and it's been just everything has worked just perfectly. We moved to the cloud in August of last year. We had about 3,500 users on our Learning Center. As of the end of May, we're at 12,000, almost 13,000 users. and we have doubled the amount of resources that we needed from when we started. And everything has been just amazingly smooth. The transition from single servers to multiple servers, the platform has been really consistently scalable, especially on the resource side. Maybe not so much on the guy behind the keyboard side necessarily, but the just the transition was just as smooth as it could possibly be, and we have grown significantly since we moved to the cloud, and we are looking like we're going to double again the number of resources we're going to need, and probably have 25 or 30,000 users by the end of the year.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you for highlighting that. You can share the same resource across your vSphere environment and vCloud Air. In fact, we see that with a lot of our existing customers. And like you said, a lot of our customers choose a cloud for the SLA. You get 99.9% SLA with dedicated cloud and 99.95% with virtual private cloud. So, Mark, what are you using a dedicated cloud, or are you using virtual private cloud? And when you decided to opt for vCloud Air, how was it initial movement? Did you move your workload using offline data transfer, or did you use vCloud connector?
Actually, we're on a virtual private cloud.
Okay.
And we actually uploaded all of our servers just from the internet. We didn't use the offline data transfer.
Okay.
And barring the guy behind the keyboard screwing up, the transition and to move to the cloud was just seamless. It was the first time I had tried to do a move with a virtual machine up to the cloud. I've been on the back end where I've managed clouds before, but never been on the consumer side. So it was a little bit of a different change for me. But other than taking off the training wheels, it was just wonderful. We didn't have any real serious trouble at all, and most of that was just due to not being fully aware of how things needed to be done.
Okay. Okay, great. And you mentioned that you're growing exponentially, and cloud will provide you exactly that. It'll grow with you. So are you looking to move any other workloads or anything else other than your existing learning center that is on vCloud Air?
We do have a couple of other servers on there that are not quite as important. A lot of our work is done because we deal with the federal government for visas and that sort of thing. We still have to do an awful lot of just actual paperwork with paper and pen. So a lot of that really can't be transferred. The Learning Center being the core of what we're doing technologically here, that's going to be our biggest growth factor in the cloud. And that's the one that we're already making plans to scale it out as far as we can conceivably take it in the time frame that we have. Everything else that we do, we don't do an awful lot more stuff that we can't do internally in the cloud, mainly because of security concerns. As much as anything, there's a lot of data that the Homeland Security doesn't let us do anything with other than a handful of people with security clearance. So we're still kind of discussing internally what things we can move to the cloud and what things we can't. It's a delicate situation when you're talking about the federal government and its security requirements.
Sure, sure. And you mentioned exactly what I was going to get to in my next question, security. It's one of the hot topics for anyone who's looking to move to a cloud. So was there anything in particular that you did during your evaluation process? Were you looking for any certifications or examinations in terms of compliance? Or were you looking at any specific security requirements?
For us, our biggest thing has been just system security. Especially our Learning Center doesn't have anything particularly sensitive on it. All of the data for the teachers who are applying to be brought in to teach in America, all of that stuff is done on the cloud, and any data that they need to transport that's sensitive, potential social security numbers, passports, all that stuff gets sent straight from the cloud to us here internally because of federal guidelines. Really, the big thing for me is the fact that with vCloud Air, there is not only a firewall that I can firewall my systems directly, but I can also firewall my entire virtual cloud directly too. So I've got 2 layers of security without having to do any real extra work. That was a real bonus for me, because now I'm kind of doubly secure, at least as far as any network system can be, as far as intrusions and that sort of thing. And that was a selling point that the other vendors that I had looked at didn't really have, not on the level that vCloud Air has.
Great, thank you. Any tips for other customers out there? Any parting advice?
I will say this: the documentation is pretty good. The thing that really impressed me more than anything was having a dedicated vCloud Air rep who was available pretty much anytime I needed anything, and they did an onboarding. It was kind of like this hangout. It was just a little session to get you up to speed on what you were going to be doing and how to do things, and she walked me through every single step as I was trying to figure out what was going on. And getting me really up to speed on how things are done. And I couldn't have asked for better customer service on that end. Even now, we had a couple of issues yesterday with some things, and I messaged her really quickly, and she got right back to me within 5 minutes and said, I'm going to get the engineers to take a look at it, and I'll let you know. And those are things like that you just you don't find everywhere. And so when you've got that kind of direct communication with a dedicated rep, and that's the person you need to talk to, and they're going to be there, and you don't have to go through a bunch of menus and anything else, that was a big deal for me. And it was really kind of a very pleasant experience to know that I had somebody that was going to help me onboard my servers and be able to answer any questions I had, and I wouldn't have to talk to somebody new every time. So it was good to have that kind of rapport from the get-go.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mark. And what Mark was talking about is our customer success team. You will be assigned a dedicated resource if you are using our subscription services, or if you're purchasing SPP credits, and they will work with you and they will help you every step of the way. They'll guide you, they provide guidance, technical guidance, and everything else that you need to get started on vCloud Air. And now I'm going to pass it over to Chris for the next segment.
All right, thanks everyone. Lambert, you're up. So let's get started on your experience with vCloud Air. So why is vCloud Air something that's important to your organization?
Well, vCloud Air is it's important to GCSAA because we were looking for an agile solution for our infrastructure to serve out our applications to our members and our customers. We are my staff, we're a small staff, and we can't provide that 24/7 data center type of uptime or support. So we needed an outsourced infrastructure that would have the necessary SLAs to support our requirements. So we started this transformation into virtualization about 3 years ago. Started out with our headquarters data center. We're 99% virtualized right now, with the exception of our phone system, which we virtualize later on this year. And again, in order to have the SLA that we are looking for, we would have to outsource our tier 1 applications to the cloud. So in our search for cloud solutions, looking at vCloud Air was a no-brainer for us. Just having the knowledge of VMware and being a VMware customer for quite a while. Our transition to vCloud Air was very seamless, surprisingly seamless. Once we had the site-to-site VPN set up, it was a matter of transferring our servers, just across the WAN. up to this cloud site, and then turning them on, and making a couple of configuration adjustments, as it relates to networking and IPs. But it was very seamless. Today we're serving our we have our SQL server, our main SQL server, up at vCloud Air, our SharePoint server. We also have our CRM, our association management system, and a number of applications that are customer facing. One of the other things that we do is we integrate with third-party applications out there. So we put our integration core at vCloud Air that reaches out to our advocacy platforms, our content management platforms, and more. Later on this year, we plan on moving 30 more applications from our headquarters data center up to vCloud Air, and we're even considering using all of vCloud Air as our main production center, and retooling our headquarters data center as kind of a DR failover infrastructure.
All right, awesome. Well, you answered a lot of questions there, and you highlighted some of the key features that we are happy to promote, and that's particularly the data center extension capability, or the ability to do an extension and to easily migrate applications, whether it be a site-to-site VPN, like you mentioned. We refer to that as our Direct Connect solution that allows you to have rapid communication from your existing environment into vCloud Air. So those things are really awesome. You also touched off on how you guys are running a lot of the enterprise applications, namely Microsoft SQL and SharePoint. So similar to what Matthew mentioned, it's really important to be able to run those enterprise applications in vCloud Air, and that's a huge importance to us. So I'm assuming that you're running on a dedicated cloud environment. Is that true, or are you running on virtual private cloud?
We're running on a virtual private cloud.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So of the benefits that you mentioned, which one or more have been the most impactful to your organization? And I apologize if you already hit on these, but I just want to make sure that we're capturing that information.
I would say there's 2 points that was most impactful with the organization. One, the cost. We have co-located before at other offerings, and we now have twice the resources at half the cost. The second point is the reliability. Knock on wood, we haven't had any downtime. We haven't had any issues with the cloud offering up there, and we hope that reliability will continue. But I mean, it has had a great impact on my team, especially being a smaller team dedicated to supporting the number of applications and Tier 1 services that we have to provide, not only our internal staff, but more importantly, our members and our customers.
How many active customers or members would you say are using your platform or your services?
I would say 100%. So you're talking a little bit over 17,000 of our customers.
Got it.
Because we have a lot of their services online that are self-service. So if you want to renew your membership, you could go online. If you want to take education, you could go online. Basically, everything to manage your membership as it relates to a professional association, you could do online.
Got it. Got it. Well, that's awesome. We appreciate that flexibility as well, and it's good to hear that from our customers. So if you were going to tell a user how long it would take them to get on board, what would you say the timeline for getting up and running on vCloud Air was for your particular use case?
You know, for our particular use case, it was pretty easy. You know, the actual onboarding time, for migration, we were able to do it within a day. Now it really depends on how much data you're pushing up there, because initially, we pushed lighter applications up into the cloud. But one thing that helps is having a big pipe. We have 100 meg burstable fiber to the internet, and that helped that helped us a lot. Especially doing a lot of data transfers, moving servers across the VPN. So we were up within a day, and that was also kind of due to an SLA with us, minimizing our downtime when we did the transfer of applications up to vCloud Air from our headquartered data center. We didn't have too much time to be down.
Gotcha. All right. Any lessons learned that you'd like to share with the audience?
I kind of want to echo Mark's sentiments on the customer support there. They have a really great customer success team, and they're there to make sure that you get the support that you need when you first start out and throughout your entire experience. I mean, they were very helpful. I mean, we coming from the vCenter environment, then moving over to a cloud-based interface that is super simple to understand. I mean, you would almost have that thought to kind of overthink the whole process, because you're looking for certain areas that you would see in vCenter, or even an orchestrator that maybe is laid out differently on the web interface. So definitely lean on your customer support rep, and we found that they're very helpful, and it really sped up our onboarding experience.
Awesome. If you were to request the next latest greatest feature that would benefit your organization, what would that be?
Oh, I would say vMotion across the WAN. That would be a cool option.
All right, I like it. I see a lot of heads nodding. So I'm not going to disclose any information, but we feel the same way. So we're in agreement there. All right. Excellent. Okay. Well, it's just about time to start wrapping this up. I want to thank all the presenters, but open it up for any final thoughts on the services, and then we'll go through a round of just a final pitch on the benefits of vCloud Air. So open floor to you three guys. Any final questions, thoughts on the service? Anything you'd like to share? Open floor. Matthew, anything?
No, just to sort of reiterate, it's if you're looking for a fallback position, if you're looking for something to quickly spin up, whether that be an extension of your data center, or whether that be a disaster recovery environment, this is your product. It's it's reasonably quick and easy to set up, and if you're already running VMware infrastructure, it's a no-brainer.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The biggest thing for me, especially recently, based on our just incredible growth of our learning center, the biggest thing is being able to provision more resources on the fly. We did a request to double our existing RAM allocation because we needed it, and we got it within 4 hours. So I was already allocating RAM before really I haven't had a chance to blink, moving everything over. So getting those resources, it saves you from having to order more hardware. It saves you from having to do all these things. It's already there. All you have to do is it's just request it, and it takes a little bit of provision, but the time involved in provisioning is way shorter than having to do it all yourself, and that makes things just so much easier to scale systems in a hurry.
Awesome. Lambert, any closing thoughts for you?
It's a super simple, easy, set and forget it solution. Like Mark said, very scalable. We too had to double our number of resources, and you could essentially build a server quickly on the fly. I mean, we keep a couple of Windows 2012 data center images up there, and if we need to spin up a new box, that's kind of outside of our normal installs. I mean, you could spin it up in essentially less than an hour.
All right. Excellent. Okay, thanks so much, Lambert. So just to summarize, vCloud Air is a public cloud solution from VMware. It is based on the foundation of vSphere, and we tout the hybrid benefits of it. Since it's running on a similar platform, you can move your applications from your existing environment into the public cloud and back as you see fit. Bidirectional mobility, common platform, common tools. That means you don't have to change the processes that you have running on in your current environment. You can use the same tools, the same management capabilities, the same portals. Independent of whether you're a developer or an IT professional, there are benefits to looking at vCloud Air, as it truly is an extension of your existing data center that's extremely agile. So we like to think of it as a inside-out or outside-in perspective. So whether you have applications running in a data center, virtualized or not, and you're looking to save costs or looking for a more agile solution, you can look at vCloud Air. Or whether you are a developer operating on web and mobile apps or doing high DevOps actions, you can take that application and then put it back into your existing data center for running in production. So the benefits of hybrid are pretty immense. Again, we want to reiterate a common platform for all vSphere users. No need to re-architect your applications when you're moving them back and forth, since it's the same platform. That bidirectional mobility really applies to the application. So you're not locked into a particular environment, and you don't have to recode your applications. And as Mark and I think Lambert mentioned, a common support staff. So it's one call to VMware, no matter if you're looking for support for your on-premises workloads or in vCloud Air. So there are benefits all around. Running over 90 operating systems, multiple varieties of Windows, multiple varieties of Linux, various distributions there, and a ton of applications as well, over 5,000 of which are supported in vSphere. These are really highly impactful to a lot of customers. But we want to thank you guys again, and now let's just open it up to any final questions.
I think we have a couple of questions, and the first one is about the operating system and applications that we support, like Oracle, SAP, etc. And you kind of talked about that a little bit just a few seconds ago. So we have a bring your own license or bring your own application policy. We support around 90 operating systems. We have our own catalog, so you can consume the operating system images from our catalog, or you can upload your own application or VMs or VApps, or even operating systems. For things like Oracle and SAP, our general guidance is that you use dedicated cloud because these vendors have license limitations for a multi-tenant cloud. So it works perfectly fine in a dedicated cloud, just like your on-premises infrastructure. And in terms of operating systems and applications, you can bring your own licenses or use our catalog. So the next question is on security. What features do we have for vCloud Air? So Chris, if you want to start, I can chime in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. The security question comes up pretty regularly, but basically it's the same security settings, it's the same networking settings, it's the same compliance rules that run in your existing data center are also applied to vCloud Air. We have a long list of compliances that we have met. That are on our website, vcloud.vmware.com. But from a security perspective, the data is contained within the data center. We don't move it. You move it if you choose to have that data in other locations. But from a security perspective, you can choose to have the same security rules, the same networking rules, and so forth for all of your VMs that you have on premises. So it really is as secure and as capable as if it were in your own data center. And additionally, you are in control of who you provide access to certain data to, such that if there is a particular VDC that you want to reserve only for certain uses, but another one that is for more broad use, you control the user access, whether it be group or roles that are applied to those from an authentication perspective.
Great, thanks, Chris. And just to reiterate, security is a joint responsibility. So we are providing infrastructure as a service with dedicated cloud and virtual private cloud. So in that scenario, we are responsible for the infrastructure layer, but as a customer, you're responsible for maintaining the application, the VMs and VApps, and that's everything that's inside of that. We don't have access to any of your applications. So it's absolutely your responsibility to encrypt the data and to keep it secure. We will give you all the tools and resources required, but at the end of the day, anything that's above the infrastructure layer is your responsibility. All right, we have a couple more questions. The next one is, what other VMware products run on vCloud Air besides vSphere? I can talk about it more in terms of interoperability. We don't necessarily disclose what's within the stack. Obviously, we use vCloud Director because that is exposed to the customer. You can use the vCloud Director client if you prefer to do so. In terms of interoperability, we are interoperable with vRealize Automation, vRealize Operation, vSphere Web Client. In fact, Chris is the hybridity PMM, and he can touch upon this a little bit more.
Yeah, so as Roshni mentioned, we have several portals. Most particularly, we're promoting the vSphere Web Client, of which has received several upgrades for the vSphere 6 rollout. So if you haven't tried that out, or if you've tried an old version but not the vSphere 6 version, we highly suggest you try out vSphere 6 because speed, access, and capability are all increasing. We've given customers the ability to view, manipulate, and manage their VM workloads from within the vSphere web client using vCloud Air plugin. We're going to be rolling out another version of that in the not too distant future that adds significant network and data center extension capabilities, as well as accelerated workload migration or WAN acceleration into that solution. So high value there. Other things that we can offer and run on vCloud Air include the vRealize suite of products. I think Roshni mentioned that. That includes automation and operations. Those are applicable on vCloud Air. Those were previously named vCenter Automation and vCenter Operations, but now the vRealize is the suite name for all of our VMware-specific management tools. Most recently, there's been a lot of talk about containers, and we have a product called Photon that allows you to run containers within vCloud Air. So that's a new hot topic. So we mentioned vCloud Connector, which is our workload portability product that allows you to move your applications from on-prem to vCloud Air and back. We have offline data transfer. You have a considerable amount of workloads or VMs that you need to port into or out of your vCloud Air environment. But basically, VMware is public cloud first going forward. So all of the future releases for vSphere and so forth will be available into the vCloud Air environment as the priority going forward. So we're really excited to get that sort of prioritization from our executive leaders.
Sounds good. One more thing that I would like to add to the list is Power CLI. I know there are a lot of Power CLI fans out there, so I don't want to miss it. So Thanks, Chris, for the great summary. I don't think there are any more questions, so I'll just go through the main use cases. So today we talked about testing and development and extending existing applications. And the last Hangout, we discussed disaster recovery. So these are the three key use cases. In addition to these three key use cases, we also have web and mobile apps and desktop. So Horizon Air, we discussed about Horizon Air in our a little bit in our last disaster recovery session. So these are our 5 main key use cases. You can get started today with any of these 5 key use cases. And if you go to our website, vcloud.vmware.com, in fact, if you sign up today, you get a $300 free credit, and you can play around and see if you like the platform. And that's actually the #1 question that I actually get in a lot of my customer calls. People want to test it out before they actually put production workloads. So go to vcloud.vmware.com. There are a lot of great resources like Mark, Matthew, and Lambert mentioned, and see for yourself. So any final thoughts, Lambert, Mark, or Matthew?
I can't think of anything. No.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, and thank you for joining us. I think we can conclude the session now. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.